How's it going, guys? With the shots here, and I realised I've not brought you some content for a while, so I decided that today was a good day to tell you. With presently the tournament season in the UK starting up again, what I'm looking to run some some WCQs, not YCSs. There's a YCS this weekend, but sadly I can't go. I wish I was going to London, but I can't. So I'll be looking at what I potentially would have run, as well as what I'd run for the YCQs coming up. I will be Shaddoll. I'll be showing you a Shaddoll build. So some of it looks familiar, but some of it won't. I'm just testing some stuff right now. But basically, my deck build is basically all about not letting my opponent, there goes the camera, not letting my opponent do anything at all that they want to do with back row, because this deck wins in so many situations without back row. So for that reason, it's built to do a back row. So with that in mind, I'll get straight on with it and show you what's going on. You got the one hedgehog still, nice and simple. Seen the old hedgehog before. Double schemata. Basically, the Shaddoll set is going to be more or less the same. One Falco, two Dragon. There's part one of my back row destruction build, and the three Beast, which lets us draw, obviously. So 3 Beast, nice and simple. After that, I've decided to keep in some special summoning by going for 2 of the Wither Buster and just the 1 Collar Serpent, because I found either of them can clog really bad, considering we're still playing, if you've not figured, some Light Swarm monsters. So we need to have something else on board to work with, and these are really good to work with due to the level manipulation you can put through, as well as the synchros you can make off the Raiden, which leads us nicely to the guy himself. This card is so good in Shaddoll. It sets so many plays up. Turn 1, seeing this can help you get so far ahead that I decided that the Raiden's just too important to not play. I tried the Shaddoll Fat build, and I just found that Raiden was superior in so many other instances in helping you progress your game state, as well as giving you options, that I just decided to go with that. The next thing, because we're focusing on back row destruction with this build, more because Vanity is a big problem for this deck, as well as being one of the biggest cards of the format, is I've decided to go for 3 Lila. Opening this card, you want to see this card really early, and you also want to see it, period. Seeing it first turn is the best. That or Raiden first turn inevitably lets you get off stuff to the graveyard. And putting this 17 in attack on the first turn, threatening that if the opponent doesn't go over it, they lose the back row, is really, really strong. It's still set to a Twin Blast, but that's the way it goes, I suppose. The last I won one more Light Swarm monster. It's in testing at the moment, but it's just the one Raikou for more at hate on the back row and board, because you can set this and they'll read it as a Shadow monster, attack into it, and then they'll go and lose a monster, and they'll get the extra meals as well for the Shaddows, which is really good. So that's that. Outside of that, I play some boss monsters, some stuff you might not normally see. Because I play Light Swarm monsters and I'm seeing my spells and traps get milled a lot, I actually do play the 2 Gaurs this format. I still think Gaurs is, now it's 2, one of the best cards that you can get hold of, one of the best cards to play, one of the single most destructive outs that we have in the game right now. Because even if they Wing Blast or Rise of this, still in your hand, they still have to beat through it again. So it's one of those cards where they don't really want to put it on top because they know you'll have it, unless they're going to play smart and take life points off you a smart way, or they have to get rid of it by removal. And with me running no back row, hardly any back row, there's only like 7 maybe traps tops, and everything might get milled. This card fits in really well. This will won me so many games just by seeing it. Seeing 2 at the start can be a bit bad, but if you draw a dead hander and they run into you, you just drop the Gaurs anyway. So it's been really good at just stabilising the hand against anyone who wants to go ham against you. The only weakness there is if they read it and they flip the vanities on attack declaration. That can really suck. That can ruin your day. But other than that, this card, unless people know you've actually got it in the deck, will run into it and just they'll lose game 1 because they just don't know you're playing Gaurs. So for that reason, I run the 2 still. I might side 1 out now and then, game 2, just because people expect it, but it's really, really good for that. Boss monsters are going to be 2 Sork. because Sork's really good. Sork gets you eights as well, and its effects just really powerful right now against so many things. So I just like this build because you get to put down splash boss monsters, which also leads to the last card, which is a monster card of BLS. So BLS is pretty straightforward. Onto the spells then. You run the 3 Shaddoll Fusion because Shaddoll Fusion's good. Shaddoll Fusion helps you win games. This card wins so much off extra deck plays. When your opponent has to make monsters to get around the board because they have no back row because you keep blowing up, then you drop the Fusion. You can invariably win off that. So that's the reason I like playing the Shaddoll Fusion. The one-offs of Charge because it helps us make sure we get a Light Swarm monster first turn and we have 3 targets to pick from. So it's really good for that, and it feeds the graveyard for all the boss monsters that we have in. Foolish Burial. As you can tell, I've run no Mathematician, no Armageddon Knight, but I do keep the Foolish in because it lets you put in whatever you need to put in, which is really strong. This card, opening this card and the Light Swarm monster is really strong. It's a really strong start. Seeing it invariably, you should be so far ahead that you win most matches. Only things Wind Blasts can hurt a bit, but seeing it's so good. I don't run many back row, but Book of Moon's so good at the moment. Book of Moon is one of the best back row you can still play. It just gets around so many good cards, so I run the Book of Moon for that reason. Just the one Super Poly because that's all we can run now, sadly. But this card again also wins. If you don't know how powerful Super Poly is, go look up the old build where it was at 3. Same for Soul Charge. If you don't know how powerful this card is, go look at it at 3. Allure for more draw power because we don't play any upstarts or anything, so we have to keep the Allure in. And then we've got the Regeki. This card is mainly in for stuff that's not Shaddoll or not Burning Abyss, because Rogue decks, it's in for Rogue, because Rogue decks hate seeing Regeki. Even against Shaddoll and Burning Abyss, if you're playing late and you've held on to the Regeki, you can blow out by playing it and just keeping the board advantage and winning off that, and blow out all their monsters and they can't do anything. So I think it's a good one-off card just to help you win games. So for that reason, that's in. And then the traps are just the Compulse, because Compulse is so strong right now. I think Compulse is probably the best trap at the moment, next to Vanities obviously. 2 Sinister Shadow Games. I wish I could run this at 3 in this build, but you invariably mill it. It's just there good to send one when you've got behind or you need to send a dragon, really. So it's just really good for just helping that in the Falco plays. So for that reason, I only won the 2. And of course, the last trap is the best trap of this and last format, which is Vanity's Emptiness. I'm still running the 3. I find this card just... I'll see it because I'm running at 3. And if I see it, a Light Swarm monster and one of my one-off spells, I should invariably be pretty far ahead, because if I get that Light Swarm monster summon off, then I'm just going to mill and just going to feed my graveyard for all my boss monsters. I find this fairly consistent on seeing a normal summon monster. I haven't had it clog bad yet. It can get dead on too many normal summon monsters in hand. That's the other problem with running triple Lila and a Raikou, but if you're playing smart, you can get around it, basically. But yeah, that's the deck. I'll show you the extra deck real quick. Running a few things that I wish I had. That I should have had a second Castell that I don't. If I had that, I'd play that. Play the one Dweller because of Burning Abyss and Rogue. The Castell obviously because it's Castell. The 101 I wish was this. This would be Castell if I had another one, but I'll play the 101 instead because it still does a similar job. But the Castell is so much better. The one off 5 I play for the double beast soul charge push is the Volcasaurus. I don't see the point playing anymore, and this card can auto win, so it's just the one off of that. The 1/6 of Goyo, I like this over Behemoth because of the ability of it being 28 stick, which means the opponent has to deal with it with removal cards. So that's the only reason I like that one. I wish I had 2. I would play 2 Arcanite Magician. I cannot describe how many games I win off Arcanite Magician. This card is incredible. The ability to just put it at 24 and then swing and then do its effect, or do its effect and sit on it. No, it's another light target for my shadow monsters on the fusion on board. It's just incredible. If I had a second, I would run it, I'd play it. I definitely would, because this card I make all day long and it's just so powerful. just wish I had a second. I really do at the moment. I play the Black Rose for removal. Don't make this as often as I should, probably, but it's in there anyway. Then the 8s are Scrap Dragon, because this card can take off your extra deck monsters against Shaddoll and also help pop stuff and keep board advantage plus the 28. I play the Thought Ruler. This is in testing right now. It stops the Wing Blast, the opponent's Wing Blast, so that's the reason it's in, as well as stopping other things like Compulse, which is a big deal. Anything that targets you, it's a big deal, like back to square one. So all these things, and it's still 27, and it's giving you life points back, so it's all a really big stick for Burning Abyss to get over, without their back row being anything like Vanities to stop the initial synchro, so it's in for that as well. And it's another dark, so I can also fusion with it, so it's for that reason as well. The last 8 is Stardust Dragon. Really good, really important card to have at the moment, help with the Stardust lot. The last synchro is Leo. It's in mainly, it's not that good against other Shadow decks who can get around it, but again, Burning Abyss, where they run one-off traps that target, this card absolutely annihilates that deck. There's so little they can do about it. The Riser can't target it either, so for that reason, it's just really strong, and I love it. And then I just run the fusions of 2 Winder and just the 2 Construct, because I run the extra utility in the... I sacrifice the 3rd Construct for the extra utility in the extra deck. It hasn't affected me too badly yet. The only thing I'd change in the extra deck if I could, obviously, other than the cast out, is have another Arcanite, and I'd probably drop the Thought Ruler. So if you're someone who has double Arcanite, I'd really consider it, because it's something I wish I had a second of that I don't. So it's just one of them things that you should test out, because I think double Arcanite is really strong. So that's my deck. That's what I'll hopefully be playing. Maybe a few changes yet. We'll see. But yeah, what do you think? Let me know what you think. I'll have a zombie build coming for you, because I've been testing one for about 3 weeks now. I'll bring it up in the next week or so, next few days probably, because I'm off at the moment, so I'll bring it up for you shortly. So that was Swift Death's Shaddoll build for the October-November tournament season, and I'll see you guys over and out.